Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Canadian Bro Show, eh? How's everybody doing? Hope we're all a good bunch of hosers out there. Canada recently has been elbows up as much as they can bring the elbows up with the amount of beer people drink in Canada. And in the meantime, we're a proud nation. And we have an incredible guest. I'll let Johnny, my co-host of the most, on my left and your right, the handsome gentleman, charismatic, talented, extraordinary, high IQ individual.
Yes.
He's tremendous in every possible way. Mr. John Leister,
hello, sir.
The co-host of the most of the Canadian Bro Show. Johnny, welcome, and thank you for bringing a very special guest with us.
He is a very special guest.
And where are you, Johnny? Where are you? You're at the Vancouver Library in Vancouver.
I'm at the main branch of the public library in downtown Vancouver. And where are you, Paul? You're in Kelowna.
I'm in the Okanagan Valley. I'm in the capital of the Okanagan Valley, the Kelowna. And it's, I got the AC cranked, and it's like 35 degrees out there. Desert heat, though. It's not humidity. It's beautiful.
Summers in BC go by very quickly, Mark. It basically rains 10 months a year. The upside is we don't have droughts. We have an abundance of water.
Another reason why I'm in Kelowna.
And the streets are very clean for the most part.
But listen, Johnny, who do we have? This wonderful person. We've had the pleasure of my software. It's EV Mux. And we're filming live in the studio, and all three of us in different locations. Our great guest, Mark Justice. Johnny's going to introduce him shortly. And Johnny, how did we make all this happen? Everybody is going to love this show? Episode, what are we, 48 now?
48, that's awesome.
Holy moly.
48. And if you look at the title, we actually created this title, hopefully, in the essence of Mark Justice, our guest, creator to creator, that unfiltered chat, episode 48. Nice. YouTuber, Between the Lines founder, Mark Justice, just released. And also we have our just released Enjoy episode 47, The Art of Empowered Living, Balanced Wellness, Organic Vitality, Fueling Life, Energy, Health, and Longevity. And it should say episode 47, but I don't even know if I found it. And thank goodness we actually even have that many episodes. Hey, Johnny, over to you. Johnny, over to you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mark Justice, for being our very special guest on today's Canadian Bro Show. Let's just start at the start. Tell us where you are. Tell us about your childhood, and tell us about your passion for writing.
Well, first, thank you for having me on the Canadian Bro Show. As an American, I am proud to be neighbors with Canada. I love the country, our neighbor to the north. And so I just want to say...
Are you saying you're a hoser? Is that what you're saying?
At heart.
He's coming out of the closet.
I grew up saying, I'm wearing my favorite band, Rush.
Sweet.
Wow.
Sweet.
That's about
I grew up watching Second City TV, Bob and Doug McKenzie. I had the album. So
he's Canadian.
I know. I know.
Wow.
Really Canadian. Wow.
I love hockey. I can enjoy a good crawler, and I like a good beer once in a while. So awesome. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
So
you're in Ohio, right?
I am in Ohio. Yeah, and we don't get the same all-dressed chips as you guys have. You guys have the best all-dressed chips in the world. But I'm in northern Ohio, north central Ohio, about 20 minutes west of Cleveland.
Wow. And you grew up there?
Wow.
I grew up in a town called Vermilion, which is about another 20 minutes west of here, right on the lake. So I really like being near the water. That's always been one of my loves. Although I don't like deep bodies of water, like going out, because I worry about the giant things underneath there that can eat me. Yeah. So I like looking at the water from a distance.
Yeah. So I'm not the only one that thinks about that.
No, I just,
when
I see like shipwrecks and things like that, or ship going down into the blackness, I'm just trying to imagine that's a terrible way to go,
That's a bad way to go.
So yeah, I grew up in Ohio. Vermilion is a small little town, about 12,000 people. Working class. My dad worked at a Ford
It's a hockey town, isn't it?
No. I wanted to play hockey when I was a kid, but the closest place was in Cleveland, and it was just really expensive. So we just had football and basketball.
Yeah, of course.
Were you a comic book nerd?
What was that?
Were you a comic book nerd?
Kind of prepared?
Were you a comic book nerd?
He's asking if you're a nerd.
Comic book nerd. Yeah.
Or just a nerd in any way.
Yes, well, to all of it. Yeah, I grew up reading comic books. Actually, literally from the day I was born, I had
Yeah, me
comic
too.
books. When my dad gave me a 3-pack of comic books, I still have
Oh,
them. So
awesome.
it was the Mandrake the Magician, Flash Gordon, and my favorite, the Phantom.
I
And
remember you telling me that when I was a guest on your podcast.
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's so
yeah. So
cool.
I just love. I'm
Your
more
your
the Marvel.
dad was the polar opposite of my dad. My dad was the stereotypical. All those damn comic books are going down the chute.
No, he never had a problem with the comics.
You
You know,
love
I had a pretty good sized collection. You know, but I loved reading Spider-Man as a kid. Like one of my, even before I started collecting the comic books, I had a little paperback. It was like the first 6 issues of
Yeah,
the
I
Amazing
had those.
Spider-Man.
Like the couple,
Yeah,
all those were amazing. The
and I would
paperback
just,
books. I
yeah,
can't
I would
read
just read
the
them
original
over and over
I
and over
had
again.
those. Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I like the
and
lost in those stories.
yeah.
Who
Then
was
it's
your first favorite writer as a boy? A favorite author?
probably as a boy. I don't know. It was probably Stan Lee.
Yeah,
You know,
same here.
so many of the
Wow, my
comics.
God, is that incredible? You're both.
Yeah.
I knew that
Yeah,
was
I
going to
know,
happen.
right? Probably
Stanley
just
is the
because I
first
was
name
loved
that I
him so much.
remembered when I was reading comic books. It stuck in
But
my
as a
head. The stories are so
teenager, it
good.
became Robert E. Howard, the Pulp Fiction
Oh,
writer, who
sweet.
created
Yeah.
the character Conan. He did a lot of
Conan.
horror, and
Oh
you know,
yeah,
he
Johnny
pulled in
loves him as well.
Sure.
Oh, really? Yeah. So
Nice.
I grew up with them, and then I fell in love with Frank Herbert.
Oh, right. Sweet
Read
dude.
Dune, and Dune still is in my top 5, like my
Yeah.
pantheon of like perfect books, and especially God Emperor. Yeah, I didn't think anything could surpass Dune, because the next 2 books were okay. They weren't as good as Dune, and then book 4 comes around, God Emperor, and I'm like, oh, okay, I think I've just fallen in love again. Yeah, so yeah, it was yeah, and now I just try to read as much as I can, and you know, whatever.
Now, growing up in small town America, I imagine this would be the 1970s,
Yes,
around that time.
we're pretty close to being the same age, all of us.
We're like aged. Did you
Yeah.
feel stigmatized? Did you feel like a weirdo? Did the other kids make fun of you? Because I don't imagine that there were a lot of kids reading comic
No.
books in Ohio.
Not so much comic books, but I don't remember like being made fun of or anything like that. I
Really?
mean, it was a very cliquey school, but I became aware that I was the only one who liked the things I did. Like there was one girl who liked Speed Racer.
Oh,
You know, I was a
sweet.
big Speed Racer fan, but I was the only kid I knew who liked Godzilla or Gamera or Ultraman, all the kaiju
Oh,
stuff.
sure. Johnny Sucko and his flying
Johnny-
robot.
Yeah, exactly. And until I got
Ultraman.
into college, where I met a good friend of mine, I was like, oh, I finally found someone else who likes this, because I thought I was the only one. And then that's how we came across G-Fan magazine, also
Oh, I
published
remember
by a
that.
Canadian. Yeah.
You remember a magazine called Oriental Cinema by David
Yeah,
Foster?
yeah, David
I
Foster.
read that magazine was amazing.
Wow,
have a
that
book
that
of
just
those.
blew my
Yeah.
mind right there.
Yeah.
That
Maybe
reference.
go to Q-Fest.
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
I
I got about
remember
10 of them.
He was his reviews were so funny. He was just like a
Yes.
really vulgar, crass, and
Well, it just
crude-
reminds me of Mad Magazine and a few other sort of borderline filthy heavy metal.
Yeah.
You know,
It was all about the exploitive kind of side of the
nature.
cinema. It was
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely.
You know, martial arts, and you know, there's
love that.
blood and babes, and you know,
Yeah.
that's fine. You know, so
Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. We were thinking
You,
like, wait, quick interjection. We were thinking about, hey, maybe we could do like, we've never done an episode where Johnny and I go on someone else's show, and I was thinking if we did, if I may, Johnny, at this point,
Sure.
because I understand you're a big horror fan as well. I know you're talking about writing right now, but when it comes to horror movies and writing, this is right up our alley, eh?
yeah.
We're all
Well,
hardcore.
you know, one of the
Yeah, we
other
can talk about
podcasts
horror
I
movies.
do
That'd be fun.
is called Heavy Metal Horror, and
There you
it,
go.
Oh, that's sweet.
Cool logo.
on unsaneradio.com.
Is that a sticker?
Yeah, yes, it was actually.
Paul,
You
we
can
need to
scan
do
the
that for
card
our
and
show.
go to
We
our
we
site.
need to get cards like and stickers, bro.
I
I'm
know.
serious.
Merchandise.
So, Unsane Radio is a one podcast. We do popular and unpopular culture.
I've been on that. Very interesting. I love it.
Great show.
love it.
And then Heavy Metal Horror is also, it's broadcast on Unsane Radio, and it's also on YouTube. This is where we talk metal, we talk horror, and we interview rock stars. So
Well, that's awesome. You know what? It would be really nice if you could actually, Johnny, if you could make sure that we get that information, we can put it up on the show
Yeah.
when it comes out.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we can celebrate your accomplishments. So that's fantastic. Anyways, I apologize for interjecting. I just came off.
Oh
the
no,
top of
it's
my head.
fine. No, I'm a big horror fan as well. So
Yeah.
I love horror. I find it really challenging to find a good horror movie these days. So I tend to just go more foreign horror. There tends to be a lot more original horror coming out of other countries these days than in the States. Even though horror movies are criminally cheap to make, they're still just kind of pandering to the lowest common denominator. They're not taking any risks. That's the Hollywood cinema. It's just so dead.
Now they want to bang something out in a weekend and create something on a buck budget, and make millions without doing anything.
I know. I wish my movies had made millions, but none of them have. So
not yet.
You've actually made movies? Have you?
I've made 3. Yeah, they're more comedies. They're more comedies than horror. They have horror or sci-fi elements. Yeah, the first one I made came out in 2014. It was called Monster Party Beach, like a 60s bikini beach movie with a rubber suit monster.
Great title.
Thank you. And then the one that came out after that. And then
do you have a poster on your website on that one? I think I saw that.
There is. I used to have a poster over here, but then when I started working online, thought it might be better, since I'm dealing with clients, to cover up the big bikini Monster Party Beach poster. So I just put these horror posters up instead. So
cool. Where can you find these movies? Are they on YouTube?
No. I have physical copies. I was selling them through a site where you could download, or buy physical copies on print on demand. But I haven't sold any for quite a while. So, But if you want some, you can reach out to me, and they're $10 a DVD plus shipping. So I'll be happy to let you. Yeah, they're just region. I don't know if they're region free. I don't remember. It's been a long time. But
and you wrote them?
I wrote them. I directed them, produced them, started them. Yeah.
You could tell. You could just flog them on your website, right? A YouTube channel.
Yeah, I just haven't really. I mean, I would talk about them, but I haven't really done too much of that. But yeah, but they're kind of silly. Movie number 2 is called Sorority Sisters versus Sasquatch.
That's Canadian.
It's a 70s exploitation film, kind of that homage. And I was trying to do something like Satan's Cheerleaders. That's kind of what.
I remember that classic.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Satan's Cheerleaders would really enjoy watching the first film.
That would be awesome if they want to join me.
Come on the show. That could be very exciting for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a writer, or was it a conscious?
Yeah, ever since I was little, I my imagination was skyrocketed, and I think what it was is I was influenced a lot by I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Little Rascals. They were shorts from the 30s and 40s. These little kids who were poor would put on all these elaborate shows and things like that. And I think I was inspired by those kids saying, "Yeah, I could do these things." But I never really thought seriously about being a writer until I took a creative writing class in high school. And then something just kind of flipped up a switch. I'm like, yeah, I think I could do a writer. Why not? I'll just try that. Ironically, I stuck to poetry and short stories because I really didn't think I could write dialogue. I was worried about writing dialogue that sounded realistic, and I didn't think I could do it. So I put it off until I started writing these movie scripts, which are all dialogue. And I realized, I can certainly write a long story book, a long fiction book, after I'd written 3 movies. And that's when I started writing the long fiction. But it all came about from making the movies, Yeah. And the third movie, before we switch, it was a 1950s space romp called Quest for Uranus. So
it was X-rated.
No, nothing like that. No.
It could be like a soft version of an X-rated film.
Yeah, if I ever do shoot porn, my porn director name will be Snoopy Douglas.
Shoot porn, pun intended.
Snoopy Douglas.
Johnny, first dog or your first pet and your first street you lived on. That's the formula.
And Johnny, what's your porn name then?
Ed Vine.
Ed Vine, all right.
Because my middle name is Edward.
So, what is the criteria again? Sorry.
First dog or first pet, and then the first street you lived on.
First street you lived on.
Oh, I don't know the first street I lived on.
First one you remember then.
Tor St. Mary's.
Tor St. Mary's. See, that's nice.
How about Dick Hertz?
Right.
I was actually going to tell them about your old one, Cunnilingus, but maybe I shouldn't do that because we are recording.
I knew her.
It might bring back bring back bad memories. I don't know.
It's like an STD, right? Just keeps on
it just stays with you forever. It just
right.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
You can scrub and some of that's just not coming off.
Well, we all know about those things, I'm sure.
We're going to some dark places now. Mark,
Oh.
you're a very educated man. Tell us about your post-high school life. You went to university?
I did. I went to Bowling
Academia.
Green.
Here we go.
Yeah, I've been in academics my whole life. I
Okay.
still am
Cool.
in academics. Yeah. Critical mind is a good thing.
Oh.
I went to Bowling Green and I got a BFA in creative writing, and then I came home and then I went.
What's
back
the Bowling Green nickname? Sorry.
The Falcons is our mascot.
God,
Yeah.
you'd never know.
And the campus looks a lot different now than it used to when I was there.
I'm sure.
Back in the day. Yeah, and then I went back and got my master's degree a year later in popular culture, and then most recently I've had graduate certificates in marketing and in technical writing, and then done some other kind of work in English composition and pedagogical theory and things like that. So
I mean,
I
that
teach.
sounds beyond my pay grade at this point.
Yeah.
But are you essentially saying you're a PhD or a doctor?
No, just I have a master's. I have a master's and considering working on a second master's, but I don't think I want to do a PhD.
And you teach, right?
I do. I've been teaching.
And that's your
I've been
full-time
teaching.
job?
Yeah.
It's your main source of
Yeah, it's
income?
one of my jobs. It's a part-time. It's an adjunct job at Delta College in Michigan, which is a fantastic school, and I love the school. And so I work from home, both my jobs, and then I also work at an e-learning company called Dynamic Training Resources out of Wisconsin. So that's also a company that has always done valued distance education and working virtually. So I work from home, which is the best place to work.
Oh my
So
goodness.
you
Yeah.
teach online?
I teach online. It's all asynchronous.
Is it like
check
one
every
student at a
day.
time?
Sorry?
Is it like one student at a time, or are they all in the same room while you're online?
No. It's asynchronous. They can do it anytime they want. The work is up there, and then they can all access it anytime, day or night, whenever they want to do the readings. There's links to lectures and things like that and readings. So it's asynchronous. So there's no time.
And how do you spell asynchronous?
ASYNCHRONOUS. Asynchronous.
Okay, because I wouldn't have guessed that myself personally.
But yeah, no, it's I love the.
But thanks for that.
There's nothing that.
You said it 3 times. I'm like, holy shit! I wouldn't even know how to start with that one.
Yeah, I have lectures on YouTube and things like that. So yeah, that's good.
Tell us about your first book and your first sale.
My first book is like the antithesis of what I would normally think about reading, and it actually started off as a movie idea, but it was because I'm a sucker for the Hallmark Christmas movies that come
I
around.
remember you mentioning that when I was a guest on your
Yeah.
show.
And so I thought, I wonder if they're looking for writers. Like I can.
They're always looking for writers.
That's
Well,
such a
on the
dichotomy.
website, yeah, hey,
That's like the ultimate
writers.
dichotomy. You like horror movies and you like Hallmark movies. Those are
Right.
like polar ends
Hey,
of the
you
spectrum.
gotta get paid at the end of the day, bro.
That's like Disney on one end and hardcore porn on the other end.
Nothing wrong with that.
You're
No,
very well.
yeah.
No. You're very well rounded.
He's got a very broad range, Johnny.
Just don't want those worlds. Some of those worlds.
Yeah.
As someone we talk about often goes, it's broad.
We're going
Really
to keep Disney over here, and we're going to keep porn over there. No, those worlds should never collide.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was going to do this book submission, an idea for a movie for Hallmark, and then long story short, their terms and conditions were terrible. And I thought my cousin, who's an attorney, said no, that they can take anything from you and use it without paying you. I'm like, well, screw that. I'm not going to do that. So I wrote my own. So the first book I wrote was totally the opposite of what I would read, because I didn't even know anything about the genre until I started writing. It's a cozy mystery called 'Twas the Week After Christmas.
Wow.
And I just started writing it, and it was just kind of fun. It was like, and I thought, I like the idea of making something near Christmas. It's a lot of great cozy imagery, and then I kind of had this kind of grand or a meta story idea about let's do something that one book for each of the 4 seasons, and so I started working with this one. And it's a cozy mystery, but there's no killing, there's no murder. It's an alternate kind of cozy mystery.
What does that mean, cozy mystery?
Well, there's no blood, there's no murder, there's no killing.
No, cozy mysteries often have killing. This one's unusual in that it does not. There's typically a murder, but the cozy elements are things like they like the setting. It's like a little town where like quirky characters. Think Agatha Christie. It might have been like the first cozy writer, but like there's often centered around things that are creature comforts. So maybe it's around someone, the narrator or the person who's the sleuth is often an amateur sleuth, and maybe she has a bakery, and so you have all kinds of like cookie recipes and things like that. And so I included those elements in this book, where it's basically my old hometown. All the places are there, just different names.
And then Vermilion.
And then so part of it involves the recipe for peanut butter fudge, or fudge in general, in a candy shop owned by one of the characters.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and I even include the recipe on the back, which is the world's best peanut butter fudge.
How could you dare not to? Really?
I know, it's fantastic. And then I realized after I wrote that book, as much fun as it was, and it was really kind of wonderful to kind of create these characters and write in a genre that I never would have expected to write. I thought, I don't want to be. I just had visions of Kathy Bates fans like hobbling me and telling me, you got to write the rest of the books.
And breaking both your ankles, not one of them.
Right, exactly.
Misery cannot die!
So I began...
He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car!
Yes. Mr. Man.
Oh my God.
And I said, let's
Are you possessed, Johnny? Are you okay there, bro? Take a deep breath.
It's all good.
Tell us about your,
Sunday, we're having a good time.
Man, it's awesome.
With your stuff, Mark, and I'm not saying this to be sycophantic or fawning. You really are a very terrific writer. You're certainly a much more descriptive writer than I am. Tell us about your character, Death's Head. He's kind of like the cross with the Punisher.
Yeah, Death's Head was my most recent book. Book 2 is Gage Black, Hell's Revenge. This is a splatter western with the greatest tagline ever.
Wow.
They sent him to hell, hell sent him back.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Get on that guy's bad side. Gage Black is a great name.
No, that was
I got a feeling his gun is unlimited bullets.
Yeah, that to me, Gage Black is my favorite book because it's
never has to change.
The truest form of my writing.
I love it. I love that.
That said, the Eye of Samity is.
Hold it a little higher so we can see the whole cover.
Well, yeah, I'm going to stand up on the cover here because it's.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. Here we go.
There, is that better? It's a gorgeous cover.
I don't know.
And that's Death's Head is the name of the character, right?
Right. I'll zoom in again.
Very sweet.
This is the artwork by.
That's a little better now.
Count Floyd's House 3D.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, Mike Gustovich, Marvel and DC writer, was a friend of mine, and he did the artwork.
There we go.
For me. And then my friend Sean Burris did the coloring. Yeah,
wow. That is awesome.
On Unsane Radio. Yeah, this is my homage to the Phantom. And I wanted to challenge myself because I love the pulp format. You know, it's like 45,000 words. I know that's what John writes. He writes the pulp fiction. I call him the modern Mickey Spillane.
Love it.
But I love the small.
I'm very susceptible to flattery. Thank you.
And I wanted to write a book in a month, and that's what I did.
You
know, like, let me see if I can crank this out. So I had this idea, and I just love the development of the character and the background. And it's set in the 1930s because I wanted to be like the Phantom, and it's set near and around Haiti, in a fictitious island near Haiti.
I mean, look at that.
The
art cover is just incredible, bro.
I kind of just had a description, and Mike Gustovich, who's on Facebook, he's a talent.
Just bang that out, eh?
Yeah, a couple days. Took him 2 days. It was just amazing. So
that's really. What is that in the background? Is that a Native Indian, indigenous
it is like a
spirit of some kind?
Like a big, frightening, tribal, kind of scary monster.
Lord, I wouldn't want to mess with that dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So I did my research. So
but the dude in the front with the helmet head looks like Punisher with the bad attitude.
Yeah, that's my homage. The skull that he wears is like my homage to the Phantom.
Wow, that was fun. I just disappeared for a while there. Thanks.
Yeah, but I do my research. So I researched voodoo because voodoo has a prominent. The Eye of Samity. Samity is Aloha, one of the gods, one of the spirits. And so I did my diligence and research because I wanted to be respectful of the religion, and I wrote it, I think, as truthfully as I could to what I believed and understood the Loa to be, and the relationship that the Loa have with humans and things like that. But I wanted to create a spooky story with zombies, and
I'm spooked right now just listening to it. I'm so
it's really, and it's fun.
Because Mark, I'm telling you right now, I love horror movies. I love all the stuff you're talking about is what I grew up with, and I had this affinity for gore, and I love gory films and horror films, and I wasn't, and zombie films in particular, and it's probably the hardest genre to get right.
What's your favorite zombie movie?
Oh, well, I would have to say I mean, God, see, that's not fair. I would have probably, I got 10 that I could,
I thought Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead was really true.
yeah, we could do, honestly, I would say recently, I would say overall, the director's version of George Romero's Dawn of the Dead,
Okay.
has stood the test of time. Aside from the poor makeup and the fading of color and
the blood.
Yeah,
And we lost you, Mark. Nuts.
Well, that's all good. I mean, he can probably still hear us, right? And it happens, right? So the best thing to do is keep going. Here we go. He's back. But George Romero would be the old school one, but the director's version, because it's almost 3 hours long and it's really a masterpiece.
Yes.
But then you think of what Zack Snyder did in his director's cut of the replay of Dawn of the Dead. Wow. That was...
It's a much leaner film, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to say. I would say that was the best well-done director. I mean, honestly, those are the two top. I love George Romero.
28 Days Later.
Honestly, I can hardly wait for the next 3 movies to come out of 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later, and because
incrementally.
Yeah, because the boys are back. They're back in team again, and they're banging out 3 episodes in a row. And I think they filmed all 3. I think they're filming a third right now.
The third one is out in theaters. I think it's already been released.
No. The first one's out.
Really?
Yeah, the first one's out, and it's supposed to be. I haven't seen it up in the theater. I was waiting to get back in Vancouver. Maybe we should go see that, Johnny, because, man, I mean, if I want to see one movie in a theater, that would be it, right?
Well,
But
Mark,
let's get back to Mark.
Let's get back.
No, it's fine.
You sent me your books, Mark. And I'm sorry that I did not read them cover to cover. If I didn't have my full-time job, I probably would have read them. But I did read the first 3 chapters. And your Death's Head is right up there. It's on the same level as Doc Savage and The Shadow and all those great pulp classics from the 1930s. I mean, you get that vibe 100%. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have an agent?
I do not. No, I do I go through KDP and I don't do much promotion these days because I just, you can only have so much time and so many things that you have to do. And so I spend more time promoting the podcast now, but no, I do not have an agent.
Okay.
And are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, if an agent's going to make me $1 million, then let's find an agent.
I mean, we're living in a day and age where we can be our own agent with all of this amazing technology.
Yeah, I mean, you, John, I see you've got a new book every 2 weeks.
Well, they're more like short stories now.
Are they?
I see them more as episodes of a long-winded.
Okay.
So the way I see it, if you don't mind, Johnny, Mark, the way I see Johnny's writing, and I've read everything because for so many years I've been enthralled, but it's just gotten better and better, and I'm just captivated by Lee Hacklin and that whole universe.
Yeah. No,
I honestly, I think it should be optioned by Netflix. It should be a retro television series.
Yeah, well, it does. It reminds me of Mickey Spillane. That pulp, beat. It's just so matter of fact. There's
snappy,
snappy dialogue. It's funny.
It's funny, and he's finally getting a little bit more adult oriented. Like he's, I said throw in some nudity and some gore, bro, and he's like, I don't think people are ready for that.
I think Lee gets laid in one book. And discovery. So much of writing is about discovery, right? I discovered that writing romantic scenes is boring. He touched her here. She touched him there. He started to sweat. No.
Johnny, it's not going to expose you, right? You're a great writer, bro. Don't worry about it. You can do better than that.
Create these characters. You don't want to see them naked,
No.
It's like, no.
Are you going to conventions? Are you a guest? Are you traveling with your books?
No, I'm not doing really much of anything. The last couple of times I did a book show, there's a couple places that have book shows or craft and shows all year round in different locations. And I went the week before Christmas. And I thought, what a perfect, for last minute gifts. People would love to buy books for stocking stuffers, all those things, Yeah. I did not, I sold 1 book during the whole day. And I'm like, wow. But the last couple have been like that. And so I just kind of stopped doing it because it wasn't worth the time and the money to sit there all day and, not make anything. So I just kind of have it. I mean, I haven't even like written much lately, so it's just kind of one of those things where it's kind of been off my radar. Other things have kind of risen up to like need to be done and more important kind of things, but I keep on wanting to return back. I'm like halfway through my 5th book. I'm like, well, I should probably finish this, and my 2 fans are clamoring, so maybe I should like try to.
What about as writers out there? There's so many writers out there, so many talented writers. Of course, they're I don't want to say they're lying on the fringes of being. They're prolific, they're talented, they're well written, and the biggest issue is everyone has a hard time finding an agent. And surely there's got to be some sort of solution for folks out there, Johnny. And I'm not really sure what that is after hearing it time and time again.
When I started doing this in 2019, I looked up every agency online. I sent them, I filled out the submission forms, and it's like foreplay that goes on for too long. Eventually, I kind of ran out of steam. I just got thank you for submission over and over again. And as I said earlier, I think agents are becoming more and more. This is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but I think it's becoming redundant, because we can use this technology to promote ourselves.
I mean, AI is replacing writers as well, right? Kind of.
Hopefully not tomorrow.
And it is. I mean, you look. I've got a realtor friend who I'm not going to mention. I'm a realtor, by the way, March. It's one of the hats I wear, and he's basically 100% committed. He's a younger chap and he's quite successful, and he doesn't really need AI, but all of a sudden he's utilizing it extremely well and beneficial, and he's working smarter by its assistance, I suppose. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, let's get back to Mark.
It's a great potential tool. I wanted to do things that I can't do myself. Like, I'm a terrible artist, and I can't afford to pay people what they should be paid to do art for me. So I never want to ask. Mike was generous enough to do Death's Head for me, and my other friend Chris did the cover of Gage Black.
They're both beautiful.
Yeah. And then he died a few months after the book came out. He had cancer, and but he said that was his favorite cover, and so he was a pulp painter. He painted pulp covers, and so that was what he loved to do.
It's like Frank Frazetta level.
Yeah, it's just
seriously, that should be a poster, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'd love to get the poster. I'd love to get that as a poster. But I did Death's Head as a standee, though. My wife got me like a 5-foot standee of the Death's Head.
Wow.
So you're awesome. Married. Are you a father? Do you have kids?
Not that I know of.
Oh no!
That's my line.
That's such a guy thing to say. I think we've all said that.
Stepson. Yeah, I've been married 21 years.
Every guy says that at least once in his life. You're not a guy. That's like kind of like a rite of passage. So who directs the Death's Head movie, the feature, the big budget, $300 million?
Who plays the lead?
Who plays the lead, and who's your dream director?
Wow, that's a
great. For me, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, okay.
And Quentin Tarantino, I feel would be
that is funny. I go Carl Unger.
Who directed World War Z? I would use him.
Okay.
I don't know who that person is.
The Brad Pitt film?
Yes, I love that movie. I would use that person. As far as who plays that,
Pauly, he's not Canadian. He said Z. He's supposed to say Z.
Oh, Zed. Excuse me.
Oh, here we go.
We say Z top.
Yeah.
Potato.
We say Zedro, not Zorro.
Why Zed, right? Yes. I don't know who I would have playing him. He's a young guy. He's in his 20s.
That puts me out of range then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I think maybe
I think I'd be perfect, actually, because
in the day,
I'm violent like that.
Like Billy Zane, I think, in back in the day would have been a really good Death's Head.
That's a good one.
You're a hardcore fan.
And Billy Zane's Canadian too, right?
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
I know. He did a great job as the Phantom.
Do you like that movie?
I love that movie. It's so fun. It's like
Billy Zane's. I think he's a dual national, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick McGowan was in that. He's always great.
Yeah, I think William Patterson, I think, could, was that his first name? Who did the White House? He did Batman.
Yeah. Johnny, we talked about William Patterson.
Yeah, he was so impressive. I think he could be a good
Robert Patterson.
Robert.
Yeah.
No, you're Robert Pattinson. We're talking about William Patterson back in the day when he did that film, the L.A. film about...
To Live and Die in L.A.?
Yes, with
Oh,
Defoe, Willem Dafoe.
yeah, the
Oh my
skit. Oh,
God,
that's one of our favorite movies. We
I
love that
love
movie.
that movie.
He's a great
Love
Good
that
actor.
movie.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh.
Okay, so Mark, you step into the DeLorean and you go back in time and you meet your 20-year-old self.
20 years.
What's the first thing you say to yourself? What advice would you give to your younger self?
Have more fun.
Yeah, I think that
No,
would
I would say that, and I would say, look, here's who's going to win the next like 20 World Series is,
Let's
and
your fifth tennis.
lottery numbers that you can play on.
Fly!
Yeah, and I would probably tell myself, yeah, I'd probably do that, and just say, and I would also say write more, play more, get the band going, those kinds of things, and just go out and have a good time,
Okay,
because
that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, just don't take life so seriously.
Yeah.
I think when we're younger, everything's a drama, right? Every little hiccup is the end of the world.
You're
I
trying
used
to
to
figure out who you are, and
Yeah.
you got all your baggage that you're carrying from
everything's a
childhood
crisis.
and all the shit you go through, and you're just trying to process that stuff and find out who it is that you are by trying all these different gloves on and seeing what fits and what doesn't, and no, I think the 20s and the teens and 20s are tough, especially if like you go to school or go to college. It's like a transitional time, like you're just trying to figure out what it is that you want and who you are as a person. So, not to wax philosophical.
When you were when you tell us about your writing process. When I was a guest on your show, you mentioned that you like to plot everything out in advance, whereas I'm much more improvisational. Tell us about how when you start to write a book, what's your first step?
First step is getting ideas. Like when the ideas for a new story kind of begin forming, then I just write them down. I've got a journal that I keep, and it's when I would just write any ideas that came down, and I know that in that step process of the writing process, it's the same process that I teach my students when they write academic papers. You're just generating ideas. You want to know who your audience is and things like that, and your goal, and then so that generation process could take a little while as things begin to develop. And then once I get a story and then start like developing, then you have to develop the characters. Like, well, who's like for the cozy, like who lives in this town? Then developing characters and what did they do and what are the relationships that they have with one another. And then once I get the ideas, then I create a solid outline. Like my outline for my current work in progress is like 26 pages, and everything's color coded. Because I have, the cozy parts are one color and the mystery is a one color and background, So, I try to do a detailed outline of the major parts. And if I even have, sometimes when I'm generating ideas, I will get dialogue and I don't know where it's going to go, but I'll get lines and I'll write them down and I will keep track of those things as well. So I can try to insert them, into it. But, so yeah, after do the outline, then it's the toll tedious work of typing, sentence and like coming up with that first sentences can be challenging sometimes. Like, how do you start? What's the tone? And then even though I have an outline, which is a great roadmap, you still have to. Writing is that wonderful part where it's planning or preparation and invention and imagination all kind of hit. And like you said, you write to explore, and that's part of it too. And then you kind of. In the purest, best of times, you kind of lose yourself and immerse yourself into the prose, and you can really. I'm a visual writer, so I write what I see. It's almost like a movie, and I'm simply trying to transcribe what's going on as the camera moves around, and so I just write, and I once I write the draft, and I usually go back and I try to edit it and see what areas work. And I also have a group of close friends who will read the finished rough draft and they'll give me feedback, and so that's always nice. And then I go through and do my edits a couple more times, and then launch it into the world. Yeah. Great, design a cover.
Do you know your ending in advance, or is it like, sometimes, I didn't know, I had no idea it was going to end this way?
Yeah, no, I often do know the ending. I sometimes won't know the line, but I do, because when I plot it out, the payoff like that. Here's the most, like at the end of Gage Black, it's horrifically violent, and I knew I wanted to do that because I was like really pushing that envelope of comfort, but I knew I could do it really well and do it service. And so, yeah, I definitely know the ending because you have to kind of know the breadcrumbs that will get you there, But often I do know that. Sometimes I know the last line, or at least I know the last scene. Like I've already plotted out the horror book that's going to come after these cozies. It's a set place in the same town, all the same characters. It's just going to be a horror story rather than a cozy mystery. So this is why I'm creating so many new characters in each book, because then I have more to kill off in that book. No, I know how that book's going to end. I've already written it,
Oh, sweet.
and it is like take your breath away. It's a gut puncher, yeah. So.
And have you tell us about your sales? Like who buys your books? How do you sell your books?
I don't know.
Online?
It's done pretty well. It's like kind of sold in several countries,
Really?
around the world.
That's
Yeah, like someone in France bought a copy. I remember, like a few have been bought in Canada, mostly in the States. But because I don't promote anymore. I get the occasional sale, but not very much. I haven't seen it, but I would probably, I don't know, in their lifetimes. I have no idea. Maybe I have no idea. 100 or 200 copies, maybe. Something like that. I know Gage Toxic is my next bestseller. Death's Head. Yeah, no one's buying Death's Head. I don't know why. Because the few people who've read it and contacted me have said that they liked it the best of my 4 books. I'm like,
I'll bet it would sell at Comic-Con. I'll bet if you took it to Comic-Con, that's your audience for those kinds of stories, right?
I would love to do that. I'd go to book shows that are more like that kind of stuff, or pulp conventions, things like that. I've tried those as well and sold a few copies. But
our friend Bobby Nash was a guest on the show, and when I see pictures of Bobby, Bobby, right? He's a friend of yours, right? And we're pictures of him with the table and all those pockets of all those pocketbooks, and he's selling books like he's living my
Johnny
dream.
was particularly enamored with that photo, and he saw himself instantly. Well, maybe that's what I should be doing.
Oh, that's the goal. What is your ultimate goal, Mark? Do you have an ultimate goal that you have yet to achieve?
Right now, like as far as a writer goes, I had a bunch of ideas. I just have not felt creative or inspired for quite a while, and that's just the ups and downs of it. And I lost feeling anything when I wrote Death's Head. I really wasn't feeling much of anything. I thought, this is no fun. I mean, it's telling the story, but I didn't. Like, I felt a lot of passion in the first 3 books I wrote, but this one just I processed all the mental stuff that I needed to process with these 3 books, and now I just have no reason to write. That's kind of what it feels like.
So it's just that little mini cycle where you just, you're prepping for finishing.
I really do want to finish the cozy series because I want to sell the horror book. I think that's the one I'm most excited about because it is such a nihilistic, just horror, just a book of true horror.
God, I
don't know all the characters yet well enough to know how to kill them all.
It's so hard to turn that into a movie, but a couple of people have been successful doing it. Two directors I could say that have been successful doing it is Rob Zombie is one, and the other is the writer and director of Platoon, Oliver Stone, and he did the film with Woody Harrelson and the dark-haired gal, and it's just like murder mayhem.
Natural born killers.
Yes. Oh my God! But the director version, the director cut.
I actually met Juliette Lewis.
I've not seen that. I've only seen that like once, way back in the theater.
Oh, it's the director cut one is like so graphic and violent, and I met her too, Johnny. She's really very attractive in person. Yeah. She's very hot. I have to admit.
I was on patrol and I walked her house. I said, "Hello, Miss Lewis," and she read my name tag and she said, "Hi, John." It's like, "Oh,
wow,
nice. Yeah.
Look at you, eh?"
I didn't ask her out, but
yeah. Shows about Mark, Johnny.
But no, it's fine. I'm enjoying hanging.
I'm just joking.
If you could go back in time and make a change in your life, what would it be? You could change, if you had the opportunity to make one change. One thing that you should have done that you didn't do, or one thing that you could have done and didn't do, or that you shouldn't have done while you're puffing away.
I probably would have stood up much earlier about my disagreement.
He's adjusting, Johnny. He's adjusting.
With the religion grew up in, the household I grew up in. It was very fundamentalist Christianity. And there's a lot of damage that comes with that. And so, religious trauma syndrome is a real thing. And so I would have walked away much sooner because I was questioning since about age 8, like, this doesn't make any sense. Why did God let Satan live? Like, wait a minute, this doesn't, none of this stuff makes sense. and I would have just
Bless you.
learned that there was a lot more to it, and I would have walked away from that religion much earlier, and I think I'd have been a lot happier.
Were you an only child?
What now?
Were you an only child?
Well, only child. No, I have a sister. Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny, would you like Mark to lie down on a couch and get a little more comfortable?
I can like
The
back.
doctor is in. And how did you
Johnny,
feel?
just reach out and give him a foot massage while you're
Yeah.
going into psychosis.
Maybe next lifetime. I mean, I think those are all my questions, Mark. That was really terrific. Is there anything else that you want to share with us? Are you going to write another death set?
That was meant to be a part of a series. Like that was the goal. Like there's a part of me that wants to be, and I admire your writing regimen, like daily writing that you do.
Thank you.
Because I really admire those pulp writers that they can do.
Here's the thing. I always tell people, if you have to will yourself to do something, then you probably shouldn't do it. But if it comes naturally to you, then the energy just kind of manifests all by itself.
Yes.
I'm at a point in my life now where I can't. If I went 24 hours without writing, I think I'll lose my mind. I would actively dislike myself. It is essential to me as eating, breathing, and sleeping.
That's really interesting, Mark. Just a quick interjection, because Johnny and I just finished this episode that's been scrolling on the ticker, and that is about vitality and longevity. And we're a couple of 60-year-old chaps. We've both had major weight loss in our life recently, and we're actually, a lot of what's happening in our lives is quite synonymous, and also almost equally the exact same time, which is very strange. Perhaps maybe not so, but at the end of the day, this is about the evolution of our soul and spirit, and wherever you are as an artist at this stage of your life is where you need to be. And when you're ready to move on to that little next circle, next journey, next chapter, it'll open up and you just walk through.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I think getting older for some of us is really nothing but a win, because we become more aware of the finiteness of time. When we're young, we feel like we're immortal. I think that's a pretty universal feeling.
True.
We get older, and it's like, oh crap, this is going to end someday. This is all going to come to a crashing halt. Let's get it together, and let's leave something behind that will outlive us, because that is the key to immortality.
And a quick question, Johnny, just out of curiosity of what Mark says and what other people that have been writers that have come on our show. We've had about 3 or 4 different interviews, all writers. And the one question I've been trying to think about to come up with you after looking at and listening to what Mark says about your prolific nature, your fastidious and you're consistent and systematic and you're free flowing. So when you sit down, so if you have that stuff that you send me and it's 1 day or 1 hour in the life of that dude, is that a part of one chapter? Or is that a chapter that's leading into a chapter?
It could be one or the other. It's usually an excerpt.
So I don't want them to end. When I read them, I'm loving them so much that I want to know what the hell's going on. Why is he there? Where is this going? And I'm thinking that everything is a continuation, but it's all a different moment of this person's life.
I think that one of the reasons that I can do this, and I don't claim to be good at it, I just know that I can do it, is I spent so much of my life reading books and comic books, and I've seen a billion movies and a billion TV shows. And now I'm just regurgitating all of this stuff, but it's through my own perception. And I've had a lot of people say to me, John, I want to do what you're doing. I want to be a writer too, but I don't have any original ideas. And I'm like, if I thought that way, I wouldn't have a single book online. None of my books are original. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When George Lucas sold Star Wars, there was Flash Gordon, there was Buck Rogers.
Was that just free therapy right there?
Yeah.
That little moment?
Before Batman, there was the Phantom, and there was Zorro. It's all the same stuff. What makes it different is when you and I do it, and we add, because we're all the same in some ways, but we're all going through life with a unique perception, and that's what makes a story original.
Yeah, and that's why it needs to be shared.
Right, it's your take on that genre. Like, I'd never read a cozy mystery before I wrote the first one. I'd never read a splatter western. I just kind of thought, this is the story I want to tell. This is how I want to say it. Here's the language I want to use. And I mean, Gage Black, I use all the good words. So it's just how I want to tell it. So I
And
think you just have to be honest.
when you pick a genre, it's helpful because when you write a detective story, you know in advance what the reader will expect. The reader's going to expect a mystery, some
Yeah,
action, maybe or a little romance, some humor,
right,
some drama, right? So
right.
within those rules, the story kind of structures itself beforehand. So it's almost my stories are somewhat formulaic, but they all have their own unique identity.
It's your take on the formula,
Yeah, and that's
because if you take mystery, you've got Hercule Poirot, you've got Columbo, you've got Bausch, you've got all kinds of different detectives and different styles. You got the Thin Man series, which I absolutely love. You got Mickey Spillane. I mean, all those hard-boiled detectives, and that's where you got Lee Kaplan comes in, and that's, But no, I think that's it. When
I feel that
tell the story you wanna tell.
Johnny's in the room with Lee Hacklin in every freaking scene. Johnny's there,
Yeah.
but nobody else sees
Well,
Johnny there.
he's me. I mean, he's an idealized,
Yeah.
cooler, more handsome,
Yeah.
With
moodier,
You
with
have
better
to.
hair, with
You
better
have
hair.
more of a ladies' man.
You
Certainly
have
much
to
more
invest yourself.
successful, much more successful with the ladies than I ever will be.
Because he has hair.
I think that's what a lot of writers
And because
think.
in your mind's eye, Johnny, Lee Hacklin is Jan Michael Vincent.
He is. And
I
also
avoid
feel-
romance in my books because I'm taking more of like a Lovecraftian approach. Sex equals like cannibal babies. They're
Oh
gonna,
my God.
mutations and cannibals and inbreds.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, no, let's just not go there. Although it's funny because some people were wondering, there's a couple characters in the cozy mystery who have been a longtime friends. There's a guy and a girl, Abigail, the main character, and then Ray, her neighbor and friend. And there's a lot of like kidding around, and so people were like mistaking that as flirtation. Like, when are Abby and Ray gonna get together? I'm like, they're not. They're
No, kind of like a moonlighting, Dave and
yeah. Well,
but
but it wasn't like there was no sexual tension. Of course,
Oh.
that's how I'm seeing it. Like, I'm seeing it like they're lifelong friends, or almost like the way I would tease my cousins. That kind of familial kind of bonding,
Like brother and sister.
something. If they got along well.
Yeah,
And
which
so-
they never do.
Right. So I had some, enough people tell me about this that I'm like, okay. So in book 2, I do play with that an awful lot. Like,
Nice.
it's, because I'm like, okay, this is what you wanted. So this is my first time like, oh, the audience has spoken. They kind of want this. And so like, I'm going to play with it. I'm not going to tell them how it's going to go, but I'm going to give them a little taste of it. At least, and make it part of the story. So
that's
I
perfect.
should get that book written, the next book.
Well, maybe
So-
that's why you're here and talking about it. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just
maybe.
something
Maybe
that
this one's
it
very-
sounds like it's been on the tip of your tongue. It's been on the top of your head for quite some time. So
It's
really, at
halfway
the end of
written,
the day,
draft halfway done.
yeah, and I'm sure you could probably bang it out, but it's just got to be the right time.
Right. I think so.
And the right time for joining us is now, and we really thank you for
Thank you so
spending
much, Mark.
your valuable time, and perhaps this is an opportunity for you to, after waking up tomorrow, thinking, hey, maybe I'm closer than I think I am, or maybe that's something that you've been thinking about even before coming on today. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's so nice to be able to. We both are writers. I'm a writer. We're all writers in this world, I
Publish or
believe.
perish.
And yeah, and it's always fascinating to have people on, and I just thank Johnny once again for Johnny's very prolific. He's extremely shameless in promoting himself. In case you haven't noticed,
You have to. It's great.
All truth.
Lee
Yeah.
Hacklin, every
And-
day I
and-
get a picture like, damn it, John, you keep on. You're just kicking ass, man. It's awesome.
I'm waiting for Facebook to close my account. It's in my mind's eye that the hammer's just going.
I can't
They're not
read it.
gonna
I
do
try to
anyone.
read the pages. It's your
yeah.
handwriting.
So
is
I'm
very
going to
unique.
do. I'm thinking, Mark, and before we finish up today,
I
I'm
can't
thinking
even
about.
read my own handwriting half the time.
Well, and that's why I'm thinking
the
about doing a show that only Johnny can read, because I wouldn't be able to read his chicken scratch or whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's like he's possessed by a demon, and maybe he is.
A demon
But
who's a doctor, right.
and at the end of the day, I'd love to see him. And one of the shows I think we're going to be doing, and we haven't done it in the Canadian Bro Show journey thus far. I think we're at almost 80 episodes now, and about 9 months, I suppose. Is we're going to be doing a live show, and I think we want to do a show to connect with whatever we have as an audience, and allow them to ask us any questions they want live and get to know us
Nice.
more,
Yeah, that'll be
and
fun.
talk to some of the people out there, and that's one thing we haven't done. So that's one thing we're definitely going to do, and the other thing we'd definitely like to do before wrapping this up, Johnny, unless you have any more questions for Mark, is the idea of Johnny and I coming on one of your future
Yeah,
shows
I
and
was gonna
doing
ask.
about horror
Yes,
and film.
Your website is Unsane Radio.
Unsignradio.com is where you can go listen to audio versions of Unsane
Beautiful.
Radio, which we're at over 300 episodes now of Unsane Radio,
Yeah,
and then all 150 episodes of heavy metal horror are on there as well.
excellent.
And then heavy metal horror can be on YouTube. You can watch all of our videos.
That
But
dude's
yeah,
pretty frightening, man.
I was gonna invite you on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is a great image, Dr. Tar from
Yeah,
Unsane
that guy
Radio.
looks hungry, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're gonna do. I mean, we're doing more horror stuff as we're working toward this year. So I was gonna ask if you wanted to come on. We have plenty of shows.
No, we'd love to.
No,
I
we
had
don't want to do that, Mark.
Oh, of course.
No, we do.
Was I pushing us to get on? Was that me?
No,
Did
I
say-
was gonna invite you anyway because I.
No, I know. I realize. I appreciate
that.
that. I just wanted to say it to get it out because I wanted to put everything together, and throw it out there at the same time because ideally when we do these, I was thinking about one of your comments earlier, Johnny. One of the first questions he asked you about comic books, and one of our oldest friends, Keith Brickford. Do you know how many comics he has at his house right now?
Tens of thousands.
No.
He's got almost 100,000 comic books.
Oh,
I think the fire department might have
100,000, bro. Maybe more, probably more.
That's like
You can't call that hoarding because they're all comic books.
that's like 300, 400 long boxes.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, I was like, Keith, you need a townhouse? He goes, how did you know?
That's like 400 long boxes.
Yeah, it's incredible. But listen, Mark, once again, it's such a pleasure to meet you. And Johnny, thank you for thinking about John. What a great experience. And you know how much we love writing on this show. And at the end of the day, I look forward to bringing you back at some time in the future. But in the meantime, Johnny, do you have anything else you'd like to share with Mark before we finish up?
I bought this at Indigo Books the other day. The Fountainhead. Oh, it's a weighty tome, boys and ever. Carrying it around is a workout by Ayn Rand, which is weird because Ayn Rand is an atheist and I'm not. But I like stories about good versus evil, and this book is really like the epitome of that. The characters kind of all good and all bad, and I tend to gravitate towards those kind of stories. Did you bring a book, my brother Pauly?
I did.
Okay.
It's
We're voracious readers, Mark.
I've
We
brought
love to
this.
read.
I have a habit of bringing the same book 3 times at least because I'm reading 3 books at once, and I just go through one book and I'll read 150 pages of one and then go to the next one and do the same thing and then bounce back and forth. I don't know why, but this one here is I brought it up before. It's by Laura Hildebrandt, and it's called Unbroken, and it's Heather's pick, whoever that is. It was one of my tenants that used to live in my house, left it behind, and it's World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. And the Wall Street Journal says it's extraordinarily moving and a powerful, a drawn survival epic. And these, Johnny and I both love war films, and it's extremely well written, and it has lots of photos, and everything that you're reading you can put faces to, and you can go to the bibliography and seeing where they fit in and how they know that person and how the story unfolds. It's really fascinating and great writing. So that's what I'm doing. Did I show you that? Sorry.
Oh, nice cover.
And I brought books, so we'll go with Death's Head and Page Black.
There you go.
I love it.
And
Love it.
Death's Head, the
The
Eye of
Mark
Sanity.
Justice universe. Do your stories take place in the same continuum, or is it separate?
No, they're different worlds. This takes place right after the Civil War in Arizona,
There you go.
in Ohio.
Look at that. Look at the blaze on that.
I know, and then awesome.
Lee
That thing is gonna. I'm seriously. That would That's like a 50 cal shotgun. That would decapitate a person.
It's a coach gun.
Would do the job very efficiently.
Overall coach gun.
But look at this.
I know.
Holy crap, man.
Beautiful.
That's a great cover.
That is honestly, it's incredible cover, but it's and it's not selling. I'm like, man, maybe people are scared.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Holy
Maybe
crap.
maybe they don't know who Samity is. I don't know. I think it's an awesome cover.
I do
The
too.
thing with indie writers, typically you have to do a cover that catches the eye because you don't have name recognition.
Right.
So
Right.
these covers I think are beautiful and vibrant.
That's why they should be posters. That's how good they are.
I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, you can go to Amazon, and all my books are on Amazon.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool.
We
So
like
thank
to,
you guys.
thank you, Mark. Thank you,
Thank you.
technology. We like to end our show with a pun. Paul, do you have a pun?
I saved the puns up for Johnny because
Okay,
that's
here
his
we go.
specialty.
Hold on to your seats. They wouldn't let me in to my PE group therapy meeting. They said I came too soon. Thank you.
Jeez.
You saw that one coming, right?
Oh, there you go.
Not safe for work.
It was over really quickly, though. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, and well, you're just, you're experiencing greatness,
In 15
Mark.
minutes, in 15 minutes, we'll be able to do another podcast. It's okay.
Saying that, thanks again for spending your time with us. We're at an hour. That was the best hour I've had all day. So thank you kindly for that,
Thanks,
Johnny
Mark.
and Mark. Again, just to tell everyone, if you haven't been here before, this is the Canadian Bro Show, creator to creator, that unfiltered chat, episode 48, between the founder and YouTube master himself, a writer and a man of leisure, and is completely relaxed and comfortable within his own skin. And we welcome Mark Justice, and of course, the co-host with the most, the man on my left and your right. That is the talented Mr. John Leister.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you've enjoyed this content, it's free. At the Canadian Bro Show, we appreciate anything that you could do in terms of commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing, or just simply coming back and watching our shows. Anyways, thanks again, Mark. Thank you, Johnny. And we're closing everything off right now. We're going to be ending the broadcast. And before we do that, I'm going to put a little Canadian Bro Show music.
Add it to your playlist, folks.
Yeah, my friend over in the UK made this for me. A little Britpop action.
It's got a good beat and you can dance to it.
The Canadian Bro Show, bring us together.
I love that theme song.
I know my other co-host thinks I'm like high or drunk or something. I'm neither. I'm stone cold sober, and I just find it uplifting, Anyways, gentlemen, be kind out there. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and everybody have just an amazing day. And we'll see you next time at the Canadian Bro Show.
Cheers.
Peace.